Davey and Brooke fight to stay in the game. Now on Big Brother Cheesecake 8 Political Bait. Hello, I'm Andrew Shesik Moonves. Welcome to Big Brother Cheesecake 8 Political Bait. It's day 35 inside the Big Brother Cheesecake house, and this week Dustin is the head of household, giving the NDP safety for the week. He nominated Alex and Brooke for eviction, but Alex correctly played a colossal advantage and won the Big Brother Curling Golden Power Veto competition and chose to use it to save himself. Dustin nominated Davey in his place, which means, unless we go to rocks, either Davey or Brooke will be evicted tomorrow from the Big Brother Cheesecake house. Who will it be? You'll find out tomorrow. And what will their plea speeches be? We'll find out shortly. But first, Brooke, I would say, has definitely upped her game in since the last time she played. I'm going to give her one credit. I mean, it's a pretty obvious thing she did, but I've always said that with the Thursday twist, the Thursday twist being, Snape Slayer, Bottom of the Sea, Prank or No Prank, Penalty Shot, Lindor Sampler, and now the Pringles Party, that every good thing you get from there has a potential bad side effect, and every bad thing you get has a potential good side effect. So the Pooh Brown Power Veto, even though it's awful and I would never want to have it, it has one good side effect that Brooke has taken advantage of this week, which is you have to play it in one of the first 4 weeks. So she's on the block now, and part of her campaign and her pitch, as you're going to hear later, is why are you going to evict me now when I'm going to be on the block either next week, the week after, or the week after that? And, it's a good pitch, and it's helped a lot of people in the past. I think Rhonda was one of them in season 5, get by an eviction. And I feel like there's somebody else, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm trying to think. Kaitley didn't. I don't think Bridget ever used that to her advantage. If anything, she got really screwed with it. But yeah, so Rhonda and now Brooke, because I don't think Bridget was ever on the block. No, if she was, I don't recall her using that in her speech of I have to go up on the block eventually, so keep me. But maybe she did. Yeah, she must have, because there were 3 nominees last season. Oh well. But yeah, so Brooke is using that to her advantage, and it's a good argument. And I honestly think if it was Brooke and Davey on the block and Brooke didn't have the Pooh Brown, I think Brooke would be dead in the water. I don't think the votes would be there. But because of that, now the votes are pretty close. And yesterday was an interesting day because after a very quiet weekend, everything kind of went nuts yesterday. So it started right off the bat with Alex saying to Dustin at like 8 o'clock in the morning, hello. The effort to try and blame all your decisions on me is somewhat laughable, but smart. Make sure everyone fears even talking to me. But it's already a moot point. No one is with me. No one talks game to me. I guess people fear the all-powerful Dustin. You put Davey up because you have a deal with every other person. Call a spade a spade. So yeah, that was from Alex first thing in the morning. And then later today, something wild happened. I wish I could talk about it. And it's eventually going to come out. But unfortunately, I can't talk about it right now because at the time of this recording, not every house guest knows yet what that is. But it's circling around, and I think it's going to get to everybody. So by the time somebody's on Extra Whip, or maybe even before then, we'll be able to talk about it. But for now, I can't. But definitely some wild things that I've never seen before in Big Brother Cheesecake happen yesterday. And it was very interesting to watch because I got to see it from multiple perspectives, not just from the people involved, but from the people who would be affected and from the people sort of, try in people's ears. So definitely a very interesting day. So the Pulse, last week I said we were 0-3, and so I said Charlene from seasons 1, 2, 3, 5. And everybody who's alumni basically said I have no reason to ever talk to that woman again in my life. So they let Charlene die, which means we are now 0-4 at the Pulse. Now, I have one more that's difficult, and then if you don't get the next one, Brazil, then I'm just going to start giving you softballs. We are going to go with, since we did Charlene, we're going to go with Chad. I have not heard from Chad since he said at the All-Stars jury roundtable, in case you can't tell, I'm high as a giraffe's ass. Love that line. So yeah, we want to know where Chad is. It's very important, and clearly nobody cares because we're 0-4 this season on the Pulse. So before we get to the plea speeches, and we have more of course, of Glow's story time, which is hilarious. Just a couple of quick reminders. Voting is now open to evict Daveyy or Brooke from the Big Brother Cheesecake 8 house. Voting will close at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Regular voting rules apply. Oh, sorry, no, I forgot. Voting closes at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The reason why is the Head of Household competition, which is live on Zoom, is taking place at 9. And so in the event of a tie, because there's only 8 votes to evict, I need to have the eviction vote done. Because if it ties at 8, you would have an hour to potentially change your mind. So we need to know, the votes need to be in before we crown a new Head of Household. So, So because of that, the votes are due at 8 p.m., not 9 p.m. In addition, if anybody wishes to use a colossal advantage for the competition, that will be due by 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. And since every colossal advantage has been played successfully, I will read the names of the 8 house guests who still have them, since we know it's public knowledge who they are. The 8 house guests who still have a colossal advantage are Brooke, Davey, Dustin, Glow, Jonathan, Curtis, Zachy, Penny. If you wish to use one, you have until 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. And I think those are all the reminders. And now that Brooke has won the final third of the coup d'etat, we know Brooke has 2/3 and we know Curtis has 1/3. The coup d'etat is now officially in play. And it means house guests, every week, you basically have to be on high alert for it because you won't know if it's played until it's played. So, by the way, the person with the hidden immunity idol, if the coup d'etat is played, will be told that the coup d'etat is played, and they will have the option whether or not to play the hidden immunity idol or not, because you really don't know when it's coming. But yeah, so the coup d'etat is always around now, and just like with going to rocks, it basically means you're never safe unless you are the head of household, the Golden Power Veto winner, you've played a special veto, or, and mind you, Curtis, the Emerald Power Veto does not guarantee you safety. That's one of the ones that does not guarantee you safety, so sorry. Or what's the other one? If you're a member of the political party that's in power. So like the NDPs this week are safe. So that's an interesting thing to note. I don't know if I mentioned that when you first won the Emerald Power Veto, but that's always been the case since Season 3, that it does not, even when you play it, it does not automatically grant you safety. That's one of the negatives to that one. Okay, so now, before we get to the final eviction please, Glow put in a 7-minute video of the story of her son's birth, Dustin. Did not know Dustin was your son, Glow. And it was 7 minutes, so I'm sorry. Even though I probably could squeeze in 7 minutes here, Glow, no. But don't worry, because then Sean struck up a conversation with Glow, and they had a lively chat. It was actually quite a lovely chat. So I'm going to read some of that to you now. Here we go. Hello, Glow, it's me, Mitch McConnell. What does the name Chantal mean to you? Chantal was my stage name when I was a go-go dancer and is my oldest daughter's middle name also. You were a go-go dancer and then you named your oldest daughter after that? Anyway, I guess that's how Amber becomes a name. But anyway. Oh, nice. That's neat that you carried that over into your child's name. Okay. I did not even know that comment was coming. She had the name before I was ever a dancer. Okay, fair enough then. Back then, I loved that name. I used to love the name Chantal too, fun fact. Oh, you named your stage name after your daughter? I gotcha. I was an undercover dancer / bounty hunter for 13 years. Caught most of the criminals on the run in go-go bars. I found your article, Glow. I looked it up and I found an article about Glow. Here it is. It's hard to say what thoughts have swirled around Dustin Carver's head every year, as other children have dreamed of the toys and treats Santa would bring. Dustin, an 8-year-old with learning disabilities, never made a Christmas list, even though his mother begged him annually to grant her a parent's joy of fulfilling his wishes. You can pump him and pump him, said Gloria M. Curry, 44, whose one-story home in the Portlock section of Chesapeake is hung with wreaths, Jolly Santa faces, and plastic snowmen. But this year, Dustin finally discovered something he wanted for Christmas. He found it in a neighbor's yard. A nativity scene, glorious in pigmented plastic, caught his eye. It has become his one and only Christmas wish to have one just like it. He says, Mommy, I know what I want for Christmas, said Carrie, who was startled at the sudden revelation. I want God in the front yard. I want the most beautiful God. I don't want anything ugly. I want the most beautiful God in the neighborhood. It took Query a bit of time to figure out what he meant. She and Dustin rode around the South Norfolk section of Chesapeake, eyeing the many crutches that adorned the homes there. Dustin rejected them all. Finally, he led her to the one on Ann Avenue. It belongs to Sabrina R. Banks, 29, who over the years has collected the figures in the little tableau resting on a bed of straw in her front yard. Her husband built a wooden frame and painted it brown like he imagined the shelter where Jesus was born. Atop it, he mounted an 8-pointed white star outlined in lights. It was the brilliant glow of the star that first attracted Dustin and the precious baby Jesus resting in straw on a small wooden stranger, and the way the plastic Mary and Joseph gazed upon their newborn, and the tight grip a kneeling shepherd has on his staff, and the 3 brightly colored wise men. But perhaps what led Dustin to this manger was the fact that there was a train that went in a circle around and around the manger. It was pretty, he said. We don't have one, and if it was with our Santa Claus and the snowman, it would be pretty. I especially like the train that goes around the manger. Carrie, ecstatic that she finally had a window into her son's mysterious imagination, went to a Lowe's home center. I thought you worked there. To price the figures. Bad news. The price for just 3 pieces of the caliber Dustin coveted, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, was $60. Other pieces were sold separately, especially the train. It's a lean Christmas for Carrie this year, so she does not believe she'll be able to raise the money to buy Dustin's scene. She checked with neighbors to find out whether anyone has a used but equally impressive set they would be willing to sell for $25 to $30, the limit of her budget. If not, she said, I'll just keep telling him that miracles don't just happen once a year. I'll get that nativity set sometime before next Christmas. Is that the article? Because I can't find it online. I can't seem to link it. I can only copy and paste it. Sus. Thank God you believe me, Sean. I believe you. It's in an article. Because I don't think Andrew believes a damn thing I say. I used to do private investigating on the side, so if anyone could find it, it's me. You have 1,000 occupations too? Don't worry about it, Andrew. Never believes my stories either. That's true. You go, buckaroo, Shawnee. See if you go find the story about my deceased husband's comic books they write about in the Virginian Pilot newspaper over 15 years ago. I actually read that one. Well, fuck. Did you find the one about me on the reality event with the survivors? I found one about you truck driving with a Survivor Amazon alternate. I bet you can't find the article about me running in Mississippi pageant in 1971. I never heard that story about me truck driving. That can't be me, unless someone else has my same name. I think it's you. The article starts by saying Gloria Curry has auditioned for Survivor 15 times. They did not write an article about me when I was selected to guard the president when I was a cop. You were selected to guard the president? Was it President Carter? Because we can fact check this. Maybe it was President Taft. Let's see here. The boy who wanted a nativity scene for his yard. Follow-up article. 2 years ago, little Dustin Carver looked at his mother shortly before Christmas and said, I want God in the front yard. It was an odd request, and his mother said no, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. The newspaper was founded with 12 calls, and money was raised to buy the nativity set with the train. Today, the family still has the colorful nativity seen on the front lawn of their small one-story home with the train going round and round. But Carrie, who works as a substitute teacher, since when? When did you have that job? Recently injured her back in a gym class and has been unable to put up the wooden shelter. Dustin, now 10, still likes to go outside and look at the figures. He, his sister Wendy, and his neighborhood boy sometimes act the parts of Joseph, Mary, Jesus, and the three wise men. I mean, and this is news. This can't be real. I love God and I always wanted a manger scene of him, Dustin said. These days, Dustin's Christmas wish list is still relatively modest, if a bit longer. He wants some water lizards, a beanie baby, some sharp pencils, a movie video about leprechauns, and new socks. I don't want a whole bunch of stuff, Dustin says. He seems almost embarrassed to add that he wouldn't mind a Sony PlayStation. Dustin also received some great news recently. He's done so well in school that he's being moved from special education to regular education classes. The quiet, gentle fourth grader pulled out a stack of awards he's received from everything from reading to good behavior, proudly showing them to visitors. He's earned nearly perfect grades in spelling, his perfect subject. He enjoys inline skating, bicycling, and pretending to hunt with his friend Nick. An outdoorsy type, he planted flowers and beds around the front house of his house last spring. Yeah, I was a truck driver at the tail end of that. I remember that. I went from Maine to New York. Gotcha. Yeah, they reran my story 2 years ago. I would like to hear about your foreclosure miracle story. I will share that one privately live someday. One word. Wow. Okay, it's time to get to the plea speeches. Davey and Brooke, in just moments, your fellow house guests will cast their votes to evict one of you from the Big Brother Cheesecake 8 house. But you have a chance to plead your case with one brief statement. And thank you, both of you, for finally keeping it brief. Davey, you're up first.
Hello, it is me, Davey, aka Jean Chrétien. I am former Prime Minister of Canada. I'm going to be conducting a mock state exam for my students today and tomorrow, but here is my brief statement. I want to say, point blank period, a full power veto is shitty, lol, and seems advantageous to keep in the game, but Brooke still has 2/3 of the coup d'etat, and despite thinking I have good connection in the house, I do think I am the least connected person between Brooke and myself. Maximize me being the final outlier and use me in the final 10. Green hot.
Okay, thank you, Davey. And finally, Brooke. Oi! I can't believe I'm on the bloke again. That's fucked up. Morning, me amazing huskus. I hate campaigning against people because we all deserve to be in the game. Therefore, I have nothing bad to say about Davey and his game. I'm nervous about being beside him because he survived the bloke last week. With that being said, I have the poo. So keeping me means at some point I have one less seat to fill on the bloke in the coming weeks. Plus possibly a veto around your neck. With me 2/3 out of the coup d'etat means if you want to work with me, it's our 2/3 out of coup d'etat. I love this game and everyone here, and I am begging you all to keep me so I can keep playing this game. I love very all, so thank you very much. Davey or Brooke, who will be evicted from the Big Brother Cheesecake 8 house, get impeached from Congress, and lose their shot at the $800 cash prize? And who will rise to power and become the new head of household? Find out tomorrow. I'm Andrew Chefsy Moonves. Take care, and remember, politics is more dangerous than war. For in war, you are only killed once. Good night.